Welcome to the Her Voice Shines podcast, where we celebrate the power, brilliance, and resilience of women everywhere. I'm your host, Shanadra Washington. Join us as we share inspiring stories and insights from extraordinary women who have found their voice and are making a difference. Together, we'll create a ripple effect, illuminating the path to visibility and empowerment. Let's break barriers, shatter ceilings, and lift each other up. In each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of women who have turned their challenges into triumphs and their dreams into reality. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or a community that understands your journey, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. And we have landed again at the Her Voice Shines podcast. I am your beautiful host, Shanadra Washington, streaming from none other than the Houston, Texas area. And let me tell you something. I have been on high vibration all week. Best recording week in podcasting history for the Her Voice Shines podcast. And that is no lie. And let me tell you something. I have not stroked out. I have had a high vibrational week. And this will be no different. Something just tells me that. So we're going to do our normal drill where our guest comes to the stage, tells us their name, where they're streaming from, and we get the magic of their story. Without any further waiting time, is my very beautiful guest for today.
Hi, Shanadra. I'm Angel Dash, and I'm coming to you from Colorado Springs. A little about me. I actually was in the military about a decade ago, and I was injured while I was overseas, and that started a hiding scenario for me. After that, about a decade after that, I started working for myself, doing different entrepreneurial journeys, different ventures myself. So I started as a hairstylist, then I went into virtual assisting. And then from there, my husband and I opened up a Rampage room here in Colorado Springs. And because of my health going downhill, I had to step away from that. So I figured out in that situation, I figured out that my passion was actually in branding, because I had taken all of that experience that I had and I put it into all of the different ventures that I was doing. So in 2021, I actually lost my best friend to an autoimmune disease, and I almost lost my mom to sepsis and diabetes. So that kind of cracked me open, and that inspired my current journey that is full of passion and fire with helping healers with their branding and igniting their voice and ensuring that they get everything that they are working towards and helping the vibration of the collective themselves. So that's where I'm at now, and it has been definitely rewarding and amazing, and I love the journey that I'm on so far.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Angel Dash, for that. There's definitely some things that we have to unpack. And I just told my last guest, they're like, oh, they just put in a nice little cute bow for 3 or 4 minutes. But we think about it, and we dig a little bit, and we really hope to make these stories pop, and people can literally find themselves in you, Angel Dash. So let me ask you this. You sustained a injury in the military, yes? Tell me about how that changed your identity, and tell me about how that could have potentially changed your relationship with your body. Let's start there with the injury and kind of work our way downward. So tell me about that injury and really what it changed in you and your relationship with your body.
Okay. So while I was overseas, I was actually involved in a rollover, and it crushed my back. So I currently walk with and have been walking with a cane for over a decade. And that changed me in a multitude of ways, because I'm going to be 35 this year, and seeing the visions and seeing the other people look at me and thinking, oh, you're so young, why do you have a cane? And so I started hiding from that. I started being ashamed of my cane. I started being ashamed to go outside because I didn't want those judgmental looks. And that had been it ended up being more of a forced embodiment for me, with accepting my cane and accepting the fact that it is now a powerful staff versus just a walking aid that I have now. So.
Mm-hmm. And you take your time and you walk through that even a decade later, and you process that, because I tell you, even at the next turn of 10 years, if God willing, you may have a whole different persona or really perspective about that particular time in your life. So it's very important that we revisit it, not stay there in the crux of it, but as our evolution grows, that we understand how we have evolved and potentially even healed. Now, I do want to extend my condolences. I'm very sorry to hear about your best friend. I really, really hate to hear that. Also, to combine at the time you said your mom could have potentially died. That's a lot of stuff at one time, probably in addition to some personal other stuff that's not even related to them. That's a lot. We don't talk about this. We don't really break it down as to what's happening at the time. Tell me about, let's just talk about the grief part of it first. Tell me what grief taught you about healing and purpose. Talk about that. Did that anything ignite in you after that fact as it relates to purpose?
So during the time, I'm going to talk a little bit about my best friend. So she was a miner, like went down into the mines in Nevada, and we don't know if it was the silica that she came in contact with or if it was just something within her blood itself, but she ended up developing scleroderma and Raynaud's syndrome, and the combination of the two makes your upper body deteriorate and your lower body solidify. So over the course of 2 years, I watched her go from this strong, awesome, amazing individual, she still is, but went from this strong person who independent, I can do everything, and then watching her deteriorate to not being able to walk or even take care of herself. And that was heartbreaking to see. So the grief of her passing was one of the hardest that I've ever had to embody, considering that she was a platonic soulmate. She was the person that I called, the person that I talked to. We would sit on the phone for hours and not talk, but be doing something. And it's just the energy that was there, and we were able to be there with each other. And so the grief that I experienced was frustration and anger and a lot of depression and anxiety, and I struggled a lot with that, and I struggled with trying to pull myself out of it. That, and combined with my mom that same year, it became almost like breaking. I felt like I couldn't do anything and there was no way that I could move past this. But one day at a time, one step forward, whether with the cane or limping or whatever, I still decided to take that journey of healing. And that healing came through spiritual healing, that came through physical healing, going to physical therapy and going to swimming and trying to make myself better that way, along with mental healing, and started therapy and working on all the traumas that I had compiled throughout the times. And then that being like a monumental portion that catapulted me into my healing itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we don't realize those periods are of trauma, like, or grief will actually have that catapulting thing after it. I know for me, Angel, it was really those situations that would just felt like I was in a rut in the bottom, that then something like blossomed after it, right? And I always say, like, no, I'm not, happy about the thing that happened, but on the other side of it, the only thing that kind of keeps me grounded, I can say, well, at least I did this beyond that. Does that make sense? Like, at least I went on beyond that. The actual thing still stinks itself. I think there's some level of invisibility. I think after trauma, a lot of people feel that they are invisible. That's what I think. How do you reclaim visibility after trauma, and how do you help others do that? Because the weight of it, I think, is a portion of what causes you to feel invisible. Tell me about that invisibility that you may have experienced, and how would you help someone else with some pointers you could give to somebody else who feels invisible after trauma?
So it is definitely a journey, and it's not something that can happen overnight. It's not something that you go to sleep and you're like, tomorrow I'm going to be visible. It definitely can be a stepping stone, but it's a matter of doing the shadow work. It's a matter of doing the trauma work. It's a matter of taking the time to recognize what needs to change or what needs to be worked on within yourself. So, for instance, with me, with my cane, I I had to make that conscious decision that no matter what people saw in me physically as I'm walking down the street, that doesn't determine who I am. That doesn't determine whether I'm good at what I do. That doesn't determine the kind of person I am. So it's a matter of taking the time to recognize in yourself the trauma, the shadow work, or whatever setbacks you're having. And it's a matter of recognizing, okay, I'm recognizing the emotion that I'm having right now. Now it's a matter of like, what can I do to help that situation? What can I do to either recognize it, feel it, and let it go? Those are the biggest things that I teach my clients as well is, we need to recognize the moment that you are having the visibility wound. And that's where you need to take the time to sit down, meditate, or breathe through the conscious setbacks that are holding you back. Because once you can get through that, once you can take that next step forward and you realize, okay, you know what? I have this visibility wound. I'm afraid to be seen. But you know what? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? The worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to think something of me, but that doesn't affect me personally. So it's a matter of taking the step forward and recognizing in yourself that you are in a magnificent light in the world. And it's a matter of taking the next step forward so that you can shine as brightly as you should be.
Mm-hmm. Keeping that next step forward approach is the thing. Because so many times I felt like when I was going through my massive healing journey, Angel, sometimes I just wanted to hard footed. I don't want to do. I'm just being honest. I just wanted to hard footed in the ground. It wasn't like I wanted to take that step forward, but that was made all the difference. Like that keep going mentality. But man, some days it was hard. Man, some days it just didn't feel good. But keeping the momentum and moving forward, those ladies who are watching, is what Angel Dash is saying that you absolutely need to do. Let me shift here to your bold method. You have a bold method. Tell me about the birth of the bold method and really tell me about maybe some of the pillars and really what it's designed to do.
Okay, so the bold method kind of came at a whim originally because I talk about being bold in everything. I am 6 feet tall. I walk with a cane. I have a non-monogamous, non-conforming relationship with my partners. I have a very different outlook on life, but it came to me as I was sitting one day and I was like, you know what? I need to put everything that's in my brain down on paper. And because I also am neurospicy or ADHD, I have a hard time narrowing down the one thing. So I wrote down all of these different ways that I help clients. And as I was looking at everything, it kind of just popped out on the paper, as weird as it sounds. So bold is what popped out. And I realized, okay, I'm always stepping boldly. I'm always trying to be different in one way, shape, or form. I already know that I don't fit in a box regardless. So how is this going to apply to what I'm doing? So bold popped up, and bold actually stands for build your foundation, own your light up your presence, deliver with impact. That's how it started. And I realized that when I was teaching my clients to do this within their businesses, whether that was with their branding, whether that was with their social media, whether that was with their websites, we were talking about their story and their why. And we got to the hard turning points, as we all have had. And that's where it starts to shine, because we all have to walk through the dark in order to be a shining light, in order to be that fiery passion that we have to share with others, to help others grow and be bold and be amazing in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And oh my God, you're a tall girl. I love tall girls.
Oh, yes.
Tall girl. Ah! I love that. I love to always see a fellow tall girl. It's amazing. But that is so good. I love the pillars though of bold. I thought that was very, very innovative, and I think it is a almost like holistic kind of approach to that healing process. So I love the fact that you did that. Now tell me about this. You said I don't build brands. I don't do that. You said I ignite movements. That was your statement, not mine. You said it. So tell me what that looks like in real time. Because brand building is one thing. It's I think that's bold to say, but igniting movements is another level of that. Tell me what igniting a movement is versus brand building. You kind of hinged on this in your opening statement, but I want you to say it here.
So when I ignite movements, I'm there's a difference between branding itself and igniting the movement. When you are igniting someone's passion, there is a different fire in their eyes. There is a different light behind them. There is just a whole bunch of like movement that is just pushing them forward. And when it comes to igniting the movement, that is the step forward that not a lot of people realize that they can take. So I had a client recently, actually. Um, she is a shaman, amazing woman, and she came to me and she's like, I don't know what to do with my website. I don't know what to do with my branding. But I feel called to you and I need your help. And I said, okay, so let's sit down and talk about this. So she's talking about her whole story, and she has an amazing story to share. And as she's sharing it, I'm noticing that she has this fire behind her. And we decide that I'm going to do a session with her to see her client journey so that I can incorporate that into her website. As I'm listening to the journey, she's talking about her spirit animal is the jaguar. So we incorporated a lot of the jaguar features on her website because that was her speech. That was her fire underneath it. And one of her brand colors is actually a very fiery orange. And the movement that she's trying to create itself is she wants to share with the world what shamanism is. And she's starting with one city at a time. So it started with just, hey, I'm a shaman. And now it's starting to be more than that. And so now we're creating communities here within the Colorado Springs area that have to do with bringing in all the different healers so that we can eventually create retreats that can ignite more of these movements that keep going. So,
I like it. I like it. Tell me about your book, Serpent to Strategy. I said, huh? When I read, but I was like, okay, they got a little ring to it. Sounds powerful. Tell me about what inspired that book and what are readers walking away with when they read Serpent to Strategy. Let me know.
so Serpent and Strategy is on track to be published the beginning of next year, and it is a story about my trauma. And I shouldn't just say my trauma. It's the story unfolding. It's the growth story. So in the book itself, there's going to be three different sections. There's going to be the unseen, which is the visibility wound, the wounds, trauma around those things, and then there's going to be the rising, or the shedding, and then the rising. So we have our unseen, our shedding, and our rising. The shedding is going to be how I healed, the different ways that I healed, and that it's not just a one way I healed is the only way to go about it. It's that there was different aspects to this healing journey that I had, and that everyone should also keep in mind and be open when it comes to healing, that it can be different forms of healing. And then the rising is how I created this business and this company that I am trying to unfold and make to share and rise the vibration of the collective itself. It Throughout the book itself, we're going to have aspects that are talking about the bold method, how to incorporate it within your life, how to incorporate within your brand, how to find the healers. And it's also going to have resources for different healers throughout the world. That's my goal in the book itself. So because I want people to have this, I guess, guide that your story could be pretty messed up, but at the same time, there's always an avenue that you can take in healing, whatever that may look like, that you can then take to the next level and then up level yourself, whatever that looks like for you in your life.
Absolutely. And I love that. I mean, I still think that's, the title, I don't know how you came up with that. I know you talked about it, but that's just, I'm like, huh? Yeah, it definitely stayed in my head. Let me ask you this. What do you say to a healer who's still afraid to be seen? Or here's the other part, or they say, I'm not ready, Angel. I'm not ready, Angel Dash. I'm a healer, but I'm still not ready to be seen, or I feel like I just don't have the tools to stand up and be seen. What do you tell that person?
So one, I would tell them that I have a bunch of resources that would be helpful for them. The second thing that I would probably work with them on is finding where that visibility wound stemmed from. Where did it start? What was that one key moment in their life that changed everything, that made it seem like you can't be seen, you shouldn't be seen, you're not allowed to be seen? Because we as women, far back as time, we're supposed to be seen, not heard, but that's not it anymore. We're not in that we're not there anymore. We are stepping out boldly. And so now it's a matter of finding where it started, and a matter of finding, okay, let's work through this with different resources, different tools, and let's take it one step at a time. Okay, you have a problem being seen on social media. Okay, well then let's start with doing no faceless posts, right? So you can do different cards that have quotes that mean something to you, and now you're starting to be seen in a different way. So if you don't want your face to be seen, we're going to start with that, and we're going to work towards seeing your face slowly but surely. So it's just a matter of taking those little steps slowly towards the big goal of being seen.
I love it. And Angel Dash, I want to give you a segment here to give us your connection points, whether that's your website, your socials, whatever you have here. I just want a clean segment so the listeners know where they can find you and how to connect with you. So over to you for that.
So you can find me at angel-brandingco.com. You can find me on any of the social media platforms at angel-brandingco.com as well. And then also, if for the free resource, if you want to check that out, it is a bold brand starter kit, and it helps you take your brand to the next level by being seen. So, and you can find that also on my website, or you can find it on any of my social media platforms in the link in bio.
I love that. Now we have arrived to rapid fire, Angel Dash, and this is my pre-prepared questions. They keep their
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's kick it off with number one. Tell me about one sacred ritual that you do every day.
Every day I wake. I'm sorry.
I said, you have any rituals? I'm sorry.
I have a few rituals, but the first ritual that I do every morning is that I wake up as soon as my alarm goes off, and I put my hand over my heart and I thank my guides, my spirits, my past self for being here, because it took past self to get here, and it took past self doing all the hard work to get to where I am today.
Yeah, sure. Tell me, if you could say, if your soul had a color, what color is your soul and why?
Purple.
Come on, purple.
Purple, because it's lavish, it's royal. It also shows the depth of shadow. It shows the depth that we have to work through in order to get to that light.
Do you have a favorite healing modality? Do you live by healing modalities? And if you have one, do you have a favorite one? If you say no, we'll move on.
I don't think so. No, I like them all.
An affirmation that you tend to say to yourself, or something that reigns high in your head when you're affirming, Angel.
I am so lucky that everything always works out for me.
Love it. What makes a brand magnetic?
Authenticity. It has to do with authenticity, and it has to do with somebody showing their true colors, their true self, and their true voice within their brand, their business, and themselves.
Finish the sentence. Visibility is
powerful, bold, magnetic.
Your personal power animal. Who's you? You said the lady was a jaguar in spirit. That's what you told me. So do you have a spirit animal?
Funny enough, jaguar is also one of mine, and I have an owl that shows up every once in a while.
We didn't get to weave this in. Well, first, I want you to do this and tell me what flamekeeping is. I want you to do that first.
Okay.
And then the second part, you're going to have to tell me, what are you currently flamekeeping?
Okay. So Flamekeeper is a term of mine that I am envisioning because I want to hold the flame for others. I have walked through so much darkness. I have been there. I am not afraid to be that safe place for others. I have a very different outlook on life, and a lot of people have told me that I'm a safe place, and I want to continue to do that. But in order to do that, I need to be that flame keeper. I need to hold the flame. I need to keep the embers going. I need to blow on it. I need to take care of it. I need to keep it going. And that's what a flame keeper is. And I want others to look at themselves and realize that they are also flame keepers in their own ways.
I love that. I want you to finish this. I feel most aligned when?
I feel most aligned when there is love around me, and when the light is bold and bright.
I love that. Here's our final one. Just give me one word and one single word to describe your journey thus far.
Empowering.
I think so. Absolutely. I really think so. And I have to tell you, Angel, I've had a fabulous time here with you today, and I honor your courage. I honor your mission, and I thank you so much for being here. And this is the part that I show we cue our guests for final thoughts. I tell them to give us some great parting words for this space, and really something that captures the essence of Angel Dash. I will cue over you for final thoughts, and I will be back to close the show.
Oh, I'm so happy that I'm here. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And if you have any final thoughts, if you want to embody that Flamekeeper energy, please let me know. I want everyone to feel bold, empowered, confident with themselves, their brand, their life, and just keep it going. So thank you so much for everything. And we look forward to seeing you around.
Yes, guys, let's absolutely keep that going. I really tell you guys every time that miraculous things happen when you let your voice shine. And that's really why this platform exists. We hope that something was said or done that really ignites something in you to keep taking steps forward. I honor all of you guys' journey on today. And I tell you this, like always, like the church folks say, I love you. There is nothing you can do about it. And I'll be back really in no time with another amazing woman on the Her Voice Shines podcast. Until then, we're out and we love you.